How does a Q&A work? If you are one of the brave ones, okay, that has their camera on, by which I mean you, Cheryl, Cindy, Jenny, you appreciate you guys. Okay, you didn't need to have your cameras on. Jeffrey, I appreciate it. All you have to do is raise your hand, and either me or someone on my staff will see your hand raised and say they've got a question, and we can come on, unmute you. You can ask your questions away. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be on camera. Okay, you can totally ask via audio. I hate being on camera, so I totally get that. Also, for everyone else though, at the bottom of the Zoom window, there's this little smiley face with like a plus sign on it, and what that lets you do is raise your hand digitally speaking, which lets me know you have a question, and then I can call on you and unmute your microphone and go through the whole thing. So that's an easy way to do it digitally. For any of the ones that are watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I see your comments. I could bring those into the stream and answer those directly as well. But yeah, that is my high level list of, you don't have to get a whole lot right in this business as long as you don't get those things wrong. I don't know how you grow an art business successfully year after year after year unless you're following that pyramid. I genuinely don't. People tell me all the time, "Oh, I'm just getting all my stuff together, and I'm going to get into galleries and more galleries." Do you realize how small the number of artists that actually make something approaching a living that are in galleries? I'll tell you, because I've got stats on it. It is so insanely small. It is mind-boggling. Okay, it is less than 1% that are making something approaching 6 figures a year, depending on how you want to sample artists. The numbers get a little wonky, but I have this book I cite all the time. It's actually a phenomenal read. I didn't put it in the presentation, but as I've been in this business for more and more years, one of the things that I've been doing a lot more is just trying to read whatever like actual information sources there are about the high end of the fine art market. And let me tell you, there are not a lot. But I'm just going to pull this up so I can show you guys. Stuffed Shark. There's a book. It's on Amazon, and I think you guys should buy it if you're interested, which is totally awesome. And it's called The $12 Million Stuffed Shark, The Curious Economics of Contemporary Art, 303 ratings. It was released over 10 years ago, so you have to, adjust the numbers for inflation. Adjust the numbers for inflation or whatever, but it's a phenomenal book, phenomenal read on how, like, the top end of the market works. And they've got this stat in that book that says, out of 80,000 artists between LA and New York, so 40,000 artists and residents in New York, 40,000 artists and residents in London. So it's London, New York. Out of that 80,000, less than 1/10 of 1% are making over $1 million a year. Okay, with gallery representation, superstar artists. After that, ones that are making over 100 grand a year and under 900 grand a year, the percentage is still under 1 of the 80,000. Okay, and then it cuts it down to some gallery representation making a living from their art, but they either have a side job or they have support, and the percentage goes up to 6% or like 5 point something percent. So 5 point something percent out of the 80,000 that they polled are making a living through the gallery model. How is that a living? How is that a way forward for you guys in your business, right? I just don't see it. So anyway, I rant about that type of stuff all the time. It infuriates me. I'm not anti-gallery, but I'm anti-gallery to the extent that that's the only, all of your eggs are in that basket. Yeah. All right. Enough with my ranting and raving. Who's got a question? Someone's got to be brave. All it takes is one. I have to pick on you guys with a camera. See, Cheryl, I knew I liked you. Okay, I knew I liked you. I appreciate you, Cheryl, being brave and starting us off. Go ahead. You'll have to unmute. Okay, gotcha.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
I have two questions.
Please.
One is I'm curious about the pricing tiers.
Yep.
I understand there's a bronze, silver, and a gold.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one question. The other question is, a lot of my artwork is extreme panorama format.
Yes.
And I'm wondering how well that translates to the print on demand.
Yeah, the print on demand is not your issue at all with the panorama. Okay. Your issue is wall space, right? Yeah. In my experience, that's been the primary case, and I always leverage. I have one buddy, he's this super talented French Canadian painter, and does really, really well, and always has done really, really well. And then he's like, I'm going to do a huge series. Everything this guy makes sells out. He's like, I'm going to do a huge series, like big pieces. Like, there's not a single solitary wall in my house that could handle the sizes that he did. And he had such a hard time selling through that show. And what I realized, my takeaway in that is, like, you can't just make the art that you love. Part of you has to design your work to be on the spaces that people actually have in their house, right? And a great for instance that I do for that is, I have all of my customers over the last month running a bathroom art flash sale. meaning the art is just for the bathroom and nowhere else. It is all designed just for that size, right? And what artists always do is they create and they say, here's my amazing creations, buy them. But you don't ever really go into the calculus of like, where the hell is this thing going to sit, right? And I imagine the majority of your pianos, within reason, I mean, you shrink some of them down, I imagine, right? But still, to really have like a piano be beautiful, you need like a good clip of wall space, right? Like you need a very, very good clip. So I think you should always think with the end in mind, which is not to say you can't do pianos. You totally can do pianos. I love pianos, but I would love to see you do some other stuff too, so that you have a little bit of variety, right? Don't always make it a diptych triptych, or are they true pianos? Or are they diptychs and triptychs?
No, the panoramics are single and they're different sizes, and
Mm-hmm.
some are actually vertical,
Oh,
which
it's more
solves
vertical.
the wall
Good,
problem. But
good, good, good,
I have other stuff too.
good. Okay. So that's on that front. On the pricing front, the differences between like the plans are a little bit bells and whistles in terms of the features, which in full disclosure, I don't know every single solitaire plan and every single solitaire tier. That's why we do the demo process. They can answer all those questions for you. But also, like a lot of times people group their plans, and so they buy 5-year packages or 3-year packages or 7-year packages, and so that sort of changes the prices. And don't take this cynically or as a sales pitch in the slightest, because quite frankly, I don't care which plan you take. All I care is that you start following that pyramid, whether you do it with us or not. Secondarily, if you're going to join us, awesome. Where you aim your wallet, you aim your heart. And one of the most interesting things that we found as a business, we started out as a company that just did websites like everyone else did, right? And then we realized we're going to be out of business if we don't fix the biggest problem, because none of you guys have website problems. All of you guys have marketing problems, right? So we're a website company, and then secondarily, we're a postgraduate university that just teaches art, business, art and photography, business and marketing. It's all we do all year long, right? So the people that go to one website company, to another website company, to another website company, to a marketplace, and they make these tiny micro commitments, right? Like $9 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month. When you're spending that little on a monthly basis, you're willing to phone in your marketing efforts. You're like, I don't want to work this hard that month, right? This month, I'm just going to take it easy. It's only going to cost me $30. The people that end up buying the bigger packages, which again, it's not a push towards that, they have effectively burnt the boat, right? They've taken the boat and they've gone to the other shore and they've lit the thing on fire and said, I'm doing it this time. This time I'm actually going to work on this consistently, and I'm going to do it for years and years and years. And so I think you get an extra level of motivation when you do it that way, which I think is interesting, and they give you save a ton of money, but you don't have to do it that way at all. You can go in on the cheapest plan and get going. Like all we care about is that you start working on the business consistently and don't stop, right?
Okay. Do they all include a website?
Oh yeah, 100%. Not only do they all 100% include the website, they all 100% include 100% of the education and for life on that, right? That never goes away. And you can upgrade at any point in time for no additional whatever. It's not like that, you get whacked with the fee, this, that, or the other again. And I mean, it sounds like you sort of know about the plans. Did you get a demo and go through the whole thing with them?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. It's super worth it. Like if you're like, don't call me afterwards, they will not call you, they will not bother you or harass you at all. I mean, the only harassment that's going on is via your email inbox in my name, right? I mean, you're getting more emails from me than any normal human being should send, period. Okay. Step one is admit you have a problem. I've got a problem. But anyway, the demo walks you through all the bells and whistles and the education package and the software and how this works and how it all works. It's too long to do in one of these sessions, and so we just save it for that. But then, after that's done, you have all the information you need to make a decision. It's right for you, it's not right for you, and then, yeah, that's what I would say.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and we don't publish them online, Lori. If that's what you're asking next? It's so funny too, because one of the big debates, and Lori, I'm going to unmute you, but you gotta let me finish this point. One of the big debates that happens all the time in the art world is, should I show prices or not, right? Should I show prices on my work or not? And a lot of galleries would tell you, like, don't ever do that, right? Because we want to get these people on the phone. Don't ever show prices. And then I look at the data and I look at the studies, and like in the little video we were rolling through, there was that art market report from Art Basel and UBS Global. In there, they survey all those high net worth art buyers, and almost, I think it was like 60% said it's very important. Or no, it's more than that. I think it was like 68% said it's very important that you show prices. And I'm like, I'm always telling artists, just show the prices, okay? Your buyer is going to be more comfortable about it. And then I'm like, but we don't have prices on our own website. I am such a hypocrite. But it's art. Art and software are a little bit different. So anyway, sorry about that, Lori. Go ahead.
No, so I was just going to ask, do
Yeah.
you then provide, can you tell us, like, what are the rates? What are the, like, here's the lowest package, here's the
Yeah.
highest package?
Yeah, I know where it starts. I don't know all the ins and outs of all the, like, the higher end bells and whistles. The way to think about it is, like, we're a website company like any other website company. We charge a monthly fee for that. And then I think the fees start on the low end at like $39 a month and maybe go up to $59 or something like that, or $69 a month. And then you pay a one-time fee to get access to all the education and coaching and support that you get for life. The one-time fee is $9.99. But again, I think they group packages kind of like what Cheryl was saying, like platinum, bronze, whatever, gold. And it just has more features and more additional years thrown in there. And then we also have an in-house marketing agency too. And so a lot of times what they'll do when you sign up, some people will say like, hey, do you want us to build the website for you? And then they'll build the website for you. And do you want us to like beef up your social media profiles? And they'll throw that kind of stuff in too, which is why it's worth doing the demo. It honestly is only going to take a few minutes of your time, and you're going to totally understand all the bells and whistles, ins and outs, everything else. I think you muted again, Lori. I don't know if that answered all your questions. I'm going to try and find you again. Hold on. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. No, I was just wondering if there was a specific website setup fee or anything that we could see in advance.
Yeah, no, there's no like onesie twosies fees or anything like that. There's no nickel and diming. It's just the packages, but they do, like I said, we have an in-house marketing agency that does a bunch of different things, and so there's like additional packages there, but you don't need to do any of them. But some people just are like, I don't want to build a thing, I don't want to touch a thing. Will you just do it? And so we have people that'll do that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lori. Okay, Emily, you are up next. Go ahead, Emily.
Got me.
Gotcha.
All right.
That was really dramatic too. You're like, got me. I was like, ooh, well done. You totally have my attention now. Good job.
Once again, you may or may not remember me. I wasn't actually prepared to be on video because I didn't think I'd be asking anything, but here I am again.
Yeah, welcome back. Good. It's been what, a couple of months though, right?
Last month. It was like last month. Okay. Maybe 2 months ago. Yeah. But anyway, so recognizing and understanding that I can't be many places at once.
Yes.
I have considered recently getting into like wholesale. There's a lot of like markets in my area that are supportive of local artists, do wholesale, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on pricing wholesale, and like what's your input on that?
Yeah, and so when you say wholesale, that's kind of like a loaded term. So you're wholesale selling to art publishers or to stores or to what?
Okay. No revenue stream's a bad revenue stream, like 100%, you say.
100%.
So, for instance, having a store selling prints, mm-hmm. artwork on mugs, mm-hmm. artwork on tote bags, things like that.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what I don't love about it is if you don't know who's purchasing the work.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Because if you don't know who's purchasing the work, now when I said the revenue stream though, like I totally mean the revenue stream thing, right? Like let's say you get that whole thing set up and it's paying you $3,000 a month. Do not get rid of that. That's great, but just don't rest on it. You still have to build.
No, it's just something I'm planning on adding to what I'm already doing.
Yes, I'm totally okay with you doing that. I don't want you overthinking it. Go for it. See what happens. See if you can get a deal in the water. If you can get a deal in the water, then it changes the equation. Otherwise, it's all academic, right?
What about pricing things like that? Like I have no idea anything about how to price. There's a wholesale price and a retail price, and is there a percentage kind of formula?
Yeah. So I would take your costs and I would mark them up 250%. Okay. And then I would knock off, the issue is like, well, I can't have, if they're smart, they'll look at you and they'll say, well, you're selling it on your site for this and you're giving it to me for this. And they might get into a debate. It sort of depends on how sophisticated your particular situation is. I would, and you know, everyone's different, right? Like some of those people just sell price point. They don't give a damn about anything else. All they do is sell price point, and they know what it costs to get the stuff printed. So they're gonna be like, Emily, these are your prices. That's wonderful. That's not what I sell here. What I sell is this, right? And so you're going to have to hit this price point. And so you should see if they're that rigid or what it is, or I don't know how many, if it's one entity you're negotiating with or 10 or whatever, but you could cut the 250 down 125% and cut it in half and say, here's my wholesale and leave it at that, right? But then you also have a tremendous amount of leeway in terms of like, what quality media types do they want your work on, right? Or is it all originals? Like, you know, there's margins everywhere up and down the stack. It's just kind of how you play it. There's no one size fits all, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Welcome back. And how have you sold since I last saw you? Have you put anything into practice? Don't lie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You have.
As a matter of fact, to the one you were Cheryl, you were talking about the big stuff.
Yeah.
I started just last month. I said, you know what? I've got some shows coming up. I'm gonna make a couple 6x6.
Good.
5x7. I'm gonna call those essentially my end cap paintings, right? So they might want to buy original artwork, but they might not be willing at this time, wanting to buy something big. But they're looking at my stuff. Oh, cool. You know what? I do want to buy something. I'm gonna get this 6x6. I've sold half of the small paintings I've painted so far this year. So
boom. And that's honestly the genius too of, well, one, everybody needs to have price points 0 to 100. You need to have price points 0 to 1,000, and then you need to have price points over 1,000. That just needs to happen, right? And that's why the merch is great, because it gives you those lower end price points. But it's also why the smaller pieces are great. And you know, the bathroom art flash sale, why that is so genius is because, you know, let's say I get drawn into Emily's world and I'm like, God, I really like this gal. She's super creative. I love her work, but I just don't know where I'm ready to put a piece right now, right? And I get drawn into her world and she's having a sale and it's like 30% off store wide or 10% off store wide, whatever it is. Now I got to talk to my wife and I got to walk around my house and we got to have a conversation about what wall space is available and where I can potentially put it. And When you say it's a bathroom art flash sale, instantaneously all those other rooms are gone. They're out of my head. I'm not thinking about that. Now I'm thinking about the 2 or 3 rooms in my house that have these tiny little walls and they're cheaper price points. And I'm not even going anywhere other than that. And I can go walk into those 3 rooms and be like, you know what? My bathrooms could be so much cooler than they are. This is a great idea. Let me get in there, right? And guess what happens? Do you know the easiest person to sell a big piece to? Somebody that owns a small one. Believe that, because every single solitary day they're going to walk into their bathroom and they're going to look at this beautiful little piece of art and they're going to grow attached to it. And you know, I always talk about it like I'm a digital marketing and advertising guru. Okay, a small piece in the bathroom is no different than me trying to figure out how to staple a Facebook ad in your bathroom that's there 365 days a year. Despite my best efforts, I can't do that, and it's very expensive, right? So when you start with the end in mind, it's just it's a genius way to think. So I love that you're doing that.
You said that about the calendar last time I was on.
100%,
like,
same thing.
every month they're being reminded that, hey, there's this great artist. What's the next month, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Question though about the bathroom art.
Yeah.
What qualifies something as bathroom art? Is it simply size?
Yeah, it's simply size. But the other beautiful thing too is, like, you know, it lends itself to series so well, right? So like if I just Googled bathroom art and I did shopping or I did images. Let's see if images. Let me do images because I think images is a better one. So I'm going to try and make this a little bit bigger and I'll get my fat head out of here. This is just a quick Google search, right? What you notice in a lot of cases is like what's being shown are series, multiple pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 9 in this case. And so you just do a quick Google search on this and it should, you know, not just, despite the fact that a lot of these are like graphical interpretations, right? Just because this is what's winning in Google. But the point is it's small. It's usually framed. It has to be framed if it's fine art paper because, you know, the condensation in the bathroom, but metal's great, acrylic's great. And oftentimes people are buying multiple pieces. So not only are you starting with a smaller price point, but you're selling multiple pieces, which is just a genius way to do it. So that's what I say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. All right, Kenny, you're up next. And you'll need to unmute, Kenny, bottom left-hand corner. I'll let you know when you go.
Here I am.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I've been painting for a lot of years.
Okay.
I used to have galleries. Galleries went belly up.
Yeah.
I've got a website.
Mhm.
I sold a piece recently through it,
Awesome.
but their traffic is really miserable there.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. So, how does it work if you provide websites? Do I give up my website or pretend it doesn't exist, or can you work with me just through my existing website?
You wouldn't want to do it because, you know, signing up for us, you're spending the money to get a Ferrari. You might as well drive the Ferrari, right? Rather than what you have currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be worth it. I mean, that sort of the question I always ask is like, if the site is not producing income for you consistently, you don't need it. You don't need it. You know, you could keep the website as a plan B if you ever wanted to like go back to it or whatever, but you don't need it if it's not working, right? And so the whole point is to get something that's going to work better than what you have currently.
Well, I own the domain.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no.
I pay for the domain. So,
Yes, and 100% never give that up. Everyone has their own domain with us.
So working through you, I could keep my domain.
Exactly right. Yep. You just point it from the
so,
old website.
So
to the
how
new.
much? So roughly, you said you pay $39 for the lowest plan, and then you subscribe for the advice.
Yeah, the teaching advice.
$9.99 was that $999?
Yes.
Or
Yep.
So you pay $1,000 to figure out how to do this.
Yes, but it's not that easy. Meaning you still have to show up week in, week out, learn what we're teaching you, put it into practice, right?
Yeah.
And do it. But again, like you look at your career, like when the galleries were still humming, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you sell in a typical year?
In the good times at 2,000, 2,500 for a piece.
Per piece?
And I don't get that anymore. Once I sold a big piece for 6,000.
Yeah, but then you took the 50% haircut, minus material costs, right? Like even if the galleries come back, like that is just not a sustainable. It's just not a sustainable way to grow the business. It just isn't.
Right.
And you know, you're looking at you're like, here I am. I'm at the pinnacle of my career. I was selling great. I know if my work gets in front of eyeballs, it will sell great. How am I going to get it in front of eyeballs, right? And you know, having me tell you like you're going to have to learn how to do the marketing portion of it is daunting and super annoying. But I don't know what the alternative is. There's nothing else. There's nothing else out there that you can like actually see legitimate growth. And by no means take it cynically like you have to sign up with us. But I'm saying selling direct, knowing who your end customers are, getting their attention, which means marketing and learning how to do that. If you don't do that and you don't do that over a sustained period of years, I don't know how the heck you make any money in this business. I really don't. Like you have to do it. The good news is once you suffer miserably for the 2 or 3 years it's going to take you to spin it up, then you really feel like you're in the groove. Then the business is actually truly growing year after year after year. And you're on the path where, you know, you can be doing this for the rest of your life with actual income coming in. Like imagine that, right? Like I find the damn gallery relationship to be a tenant-farmer relationship. It just is. Like the most vulnerable you guys are is that every one of you deep down has the exact same desire. I just want to create and I want somebody to handle everything else, right? That is not a job, okay? That is a hobby. That is a wish, right? That is a unicorn. It just doesn't work that way. And because that is your guys' deepest, darkest desire, it's why the galleries have been able to exploit this relationship for as long as they have. Which is not to say there's not like great gallerists, right? But the financial terms are they're just out of line.
Yeah. So what's the next step? Do we do a demo with you?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. And I'll have somebody contact you so you don't have to fill out a form. And with the Kinney, are you Irish?
That's a family name. It's like my grandmother's maiden name.
Got it.
So I might have to leave sooner than later. So you already have my contact information.
Yeah. But as a final, before I let you go, what is this super interesting room that you're in?
This is an art collection of this is a nonprofit art institute.
I was gonna say it's super cool. Super cool background.
Well, there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
And the stuff in boxes is result of a lot of labor.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah. Very
it's my
cool.
office.
Yeah.
I do my own art. I do my own art, so this isn't related.
Would they let you run a live art show in there?
No, I'd find another space.
You'd find another space. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it would be a cool one for it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
But nice to meet you.
You too. Ditto. We'll have somebody reach out. Thanks, gang. I'm always looking for the good angles on the outdoor space. It's funny because I live here in Southern California, and one town south of me is this place, Laguna Beach, where it's more art galleries per capita probably than in just about anywhere else in California. And I drove down there today. A customer, a dear friend of mine, was taking a show down. Went in there and did some Instagram lives of this whole thing, like hung up in the gallery, which was totally cool. It's a great place to do it, which was I was like, with Kenny here, I was like, that is a cool background. You could do something with that. But who else, guys? Questions, comments? Bruce, Shelly, Jenny, you guys are the ones with the cameras on, so you're the one who gets picked on. Jenny's smiling. I can't tell which one of you. Somebody's got to raise their hand, otherwise I won't know. Okay. So I'm gonna go. There's two Jennys. I'm gonna go Jenny on the left, and I'll go Jenny on the right. There's two of you guys. One spells it with the G. This is Jenny with the J. Go ahead, Jenny with the J, and then I'll get you.
I'm Jenny with the J.
Jenny with the J.
First of all,
How you
great presentation, and I love that you observe we're going to be doing this for the rest of our lives. We might as well get started now.
It's so true.
Figuring out how to leverage the things that are available to us.
Yeah.
And you said this presentation right now is going out to Instagram, YouTube, all kinds of places. What are you using to do that? Like Restream or StreamYard?
Good for you. You even know the players. Yeah. So not Instagram, because Instagram requires the phone, right? Otherwise, you're in massive violation of their terms of service. But yeah, I find that the streaming services are kind of like golf clubs. You need a bag full to play the game of life, right? What's really interesting, the abstractions, the layers, is everyone's in a Zoom session, and we're in this Zoom session together, right? And that's on the computer. And then I alternate between both Restream, sometimes StreamYard. Sometimes I just use OBS, which is this other program. And then I use that to send out to the various different services, which is really cool. And it's like we can be in here and have this intimate, cool call, and then be streaming it so other people get to learn and watch and like tune in and leave questions too. It ends up being really fun. Aside from these lovely spammers that leave comments on YouTube like this, like, what are you doing?
You're muted, but
Oh, sorry. Aside from these lovely spammers on YouTube that leave comments like vur.fvy, like, nobody's clicking on that. Just stop with that. Give it a rest. Anyway, yeah. So it sounds like you've done some researching on the streaming. What led you there, just out of curiosity?
In addition to, I didn't know I was a visual artist until I'm a musician. And then just to keep myself creative, I started taking pictures and writing haikus.
Cool.
And since then I've come out with a bunch of books and I've gotten some commissions, but I have really just started contemplating being part of the art marketplace. So throughout COVID, we were doing live stream concerts and things.
Okay.
And the what you're describing with the sharing of art, sort of like a concert, it makes perfect sense. It just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's amazing. And there's no one right answer to all of them, right? Like, they're like the golf clubs is a great analogy. Not everyone plays golf. I mean, I don't even play golf. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But you have to have a bag full of different clubs, right, for different shots. Like, I went and saw my buddy today at this gallery down in Laguna, and we didn't have the time to do the laptop and everything else. And so, boom, you grab the phone, what you have, walk through, did an Instagram for him, did an Instagram for me, and it was totally awesome. But yeah, I think it's just additional, it's additional ROI, right? Return on investment. Like everything that we do in marketing, we constantly want to increase the return that we're getting for that marketing activity, right? And for most artists and photographers, you don't have a whole heck of a lot of followers on these various different platforms. Meaning, let's just say you're going to go live and you're going to go onto your Twitter and you're going to go onto your Facebook and you're going to go onto your YouTube. Well, how many followers do you have that are actually watching that live? The number is going to be very small. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Okay. It's just some additional ROI that you're getting. And then also, once you're done, the video lives there. So you don't have to do any uploading or saving or this or that or the other, right? And it's bolted in and it's ready to go. But most important, it's the next best thing to being in person. I get to see who you are, what makes you tick, your peccadillos, how funny you are, whether or not you have animals running in and around, you holding the various different pieces, right? And that alone is so insanely powerful. I can't begin to tell you. Like, one of the things that I realized, so prior to COVID hitting, okay, I was never on video once. I have a face for radio. I don't like video. I never wanted to be on video. I saw the writing on the wall. I needed to change, right? Since then, I can't even begin to tell you how many of these things I've done, both for us as a brand, Art Storefronts, to get our name out there, and then also for our customers. And I thought I was so super sweet. I wrote the best, most in-depth guide, how to go live on this, how to go live on that, how to use your phone here, how to use a tablet, AirPod. Like, I have the most insane guide for my customers. I'm like, ready, go. And such a small number of them did it because it's terrifying. Nobody likes being on video. Nobody likes it, right? Everyone is like, right? And like it's so scary. So I've now changed my approach, okay? To part, I have the best education and guides, okay? No question. But secondarily, I have to employ support, carrot, sticks, incentives, bribes, sometimes show up in person just to get my customers to do their first couple. And once they do their first couple and you get that little taste, you're like, oh my gosh, this totally works. And then I have to push them even harder to say, Patrick, I just did my first one. It was so great. It was amazing. I learned so much. And I'm like, wonderful. That's incredible. Now go do 1,000 because it's the future. Go do 1,000 of them. And when you get the 1,000 in your head, you're like, I can do a flash sale today. I had a particularly great day. I'm having a flash sale on this piece. It's an acrylic. I usually sell it for $375. For the next hour, it's for sale for $99. Let me tell you about my inspiration, how it's awesome. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom out. I'm done. I emailed that thing to my list. That was my flash sale for the day. How long did that take me? Seconds, right? There's no hard and fast rule for what they are, what they're not. But anyway, so I put this service in the agency again, just because I wanted to learn and see what I could do. And I said, okay, guys, for $99 a month, year commitment, okay, the year commitment was 100% on purpose to get these people to commit. You get one a month where someone on my staff will run the show for you, right? So they get all the socials connected to StreamYard. They sit in the background and they run the stream for them and like, we'll pull the comments, right? And say like, hey, Jenny, stop. Matt's got a question on that piece. What are you selling that piece for? Can you get it in acrylic? And like kind of help you, right? I sold 25 spots of it. 2 people dropped out for whatever reason, so we have 23. Out of the 23 shows so far, we've run 20. Out of the 20 shows, and this is everything from somewhat more established artists, I guess you could say, to some people literally just starting, that literally just started a month ago. Their very first shows got in the water. Only 7 didn't make money. 13 out of the 7 sold a ton of pieces. One gal did like a couple $1,000s on her first show, which is insane. That's insane. And all it was, was they never would have done it on their own. They never would have done it. Terrified of like the technological stuff and like, do they have the bandwidth at their house and this, that, and the other. But it was just such a phenomenal experience. And I just genuinely feel like artists, photographers at a macro are so bad at marketing to begin with and are so bad at merchandising. Like, how many Instagram accounts do I go to where it's just 2D image and 2D image and 2D image, JPEG, JPEG, JPEG. No one's ever holding the work. No one's ever talking about it. No one's ever doing videos, right? It's just a thing that artists really struggle with. So I know that if I can just continue getting my customers to do like 1 or 2 or 3, we'll get there, and then they're all going to start doing them. And this is like a trend that's going to take like 5 to 7 years to break, and then the entire world's going to be doing it. But already more and more and more are doing it.
I think what you're saying is so true, and
Yeah.
it only makes me smile because I don't know why I didn't think of it myself. And I think there's a lot to be said about getting in now before absolutely everybody is doing it, because already so many people are doing it.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Do you have an opinion on NFTs?
Yeah, I have a great opinion on NFTs, and we can go super into that. But tell you what, let me save it till the end. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you
Thank
own?
you.
And just as a follow up, 2 important questions. Do you own any crypto at all? Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything?
No.
No. How many people on this call own any crypto whatsoever? I'd be very, very, very curious to hear. I'm going into grid mode, or just put it in the chat. Any hands up? Do any of you guys own Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple? ADA, Solana? No. Not a single solitary person on here. Okay, one person, Mari Leon. One person owns some crypto. So I'll get into it in a second. Let me answer a couple more questions, and then I'll get into my rant on it. By the way, I'm obviously a crypto freak. So is the CEO. Like we're both into it, but it infuriates me on some level because it's a shiny object. But I'm going to get into it. Is Mari the only one? Is Mari the only one on this call? Just out of curiosity. Anyone else even own any crypto? Have a Coinbase account or a Binance account or a Gemini account or any of the rest of them? Oh wow. There's James here owns 10 NFTs, so we might have to talk to him about that. But Jenny, sorry, I've left you waiting. Go ahead. So there's 2 on this call. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you. I just was trying to figure out how to unmute. Was my problem. Yeah, I love Laguna. I've spent a lot of time down there,
Yeah,
so I can relate to that. That's made me miss home. I'm in New York right now. My challenge is to move from an academic sort of exhibition artist to public and to sell, and I'm just having the hardest time trying to figure that out, because the way to sell is to make these things for people, but I'm always caught in that bubble of I have to make the art for me, sort of thing. So I'm caught between generations of tools and approaches, I think. And I don't know, is this going to work for me? Do I have to change my art entirely? That sort of thing.
Yeah, so you're the only one that can answer that, right?
I know.
Like if you and I think the answer, the way you answer it is, and so many approach the whole process the way that you do. I'm only going to create what inspires me, what makes me happy, what I want to do, and then I'm going to go and take that product to market and see how well it sells. And it might sell well, it might not. If it doesn't, then that's where you have a big decision to make. If it doesn't, do you not care and you're happy just keeping it as a hobby because you're creating what you love and that's what sustains you and makes you happy? Or are you willing to approach it and say, okay, I leveraged my creativity to create this thing. I love it. It's beautiful. The market has given me the feedback that they're not willing to pay a tremendous amount of money on it. Am I willing to try something else, try something new at that point in time? Now, that decision can sound like a difficult decision or not a difficult decision. The thing that infuriates me, okay, is they never taught the truth in art school. All right. They never taught the truth in photography school. And if they did, you would learn about Pablo Picasso and not about his life and about what he did. You would instead learn that when he died, he had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory. What do you think he was doing, Jenny? He was trying new things all the time. He knew that, is it Ginny or Jenny? Jenny, sorry. Yeah. I always screw that up. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. What he knew is that, like, being a successful artist is like archery. Like, do you know how hard it is to go in and say, I'm going to get a bullseye on the one arrow that I'm going to fire, right? Or, no, I realize I have to fire a ton of arrows, and some are probably going to go in the neighbor's yard, and some are going to whack the fence. But if I fire enough, I'm eventually going to find out what really, really does sell. And that like mindset of some level of flexibility to experiment with subject matter material, I find is like baked into the DNA of some of the most successful customers that we have. I don't know where they learned it. I don't know how they learned it. I don't know if they just osmosis or inherited it naturally, but that's like fundamentally baked into their DNA. And it's something that they're all doing on a regular basis. And so I think that's an important thing to contemplate. I think, as like a dyed-in-the-wool digital advertising guy, you write ad A, you write ad B. You see which one wins. Then you drop the loser and you write version C and you put that up. And you're constantly doing that, never stopping, because you're trying to always outdo what you've already done. And I think that's the way art should be too. Like, no one's saying you can't create what you want to create, but, treat it like a business because you want it to be a business. You don't want it to be a hobby. You want to make, some great money out of this. And being locked into one subject material, one creative passion the entire time, that's not giving yourself so many arrows.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do. Okay, well, I could use this. It seems like I could use these tools definitely, and then just direct my the collector's list, or what were you calling that?
Yeah, collector list. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do have that. So.
And that's incredibly important.
Okay.
I love that you have that. How have you been putting any water in that pot, or have we not talked to these guys?
Not in a while.
Yeah, I see.
I've been sick for a long time, so now I'm coming back.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're back.
Yeah, so I have to get just more energy around it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so you went from California to New York?
Yeah.
Oh,
San Francisco.
yeah. I was born in New York. I lived there for a grand 2 months, and then I came to California. So
Yeah, I prefer California, but right now especially,
yeah,
it's a little cold.
yeah. It's a little warmer for sure. But thanks, Jane.
Yeah. Love California.
You can check.
Okay, that's really what I've been mulling over and over. Now I got to do something.
Yes.
You know, it's sort of to that point.
Yes, we can help. If not, just follow us on YouTube and listen to some of the free stuff and get yourself in the mode where you're executing again.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
Okay. Actually, James, will you unmute? I'm dying to hear your NFT story.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. So were you super into crypto for a while?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I was actually against digital art at first.
Mm-hmm.
Because like so many people who grew up as artists, we used our hands, our minds, and whatever we can grab to create a piece that actually spoke. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So once I got to the point and seen the income from it, all right, so the truth is I started just messing around with it, playing around with it, but I did something that was meaningful when I did it. So once I seen the money coming in, I just said, let me just jump in and just pretty much download every app that there is that was involved with NFTs. All the Coinbases and everything, literally every app that is out there, I downloaded, even the newest ones, even the most relevant updated versions of whatever. So what I did was I just minted like a series of 10, and it's up to me now to sell them.
Yep.
But it's like I'm trying to build up how do I say? I'm trying to build up a want for them first instead of just doing what everyone else is doing. Once I see a group of people or a lot of people doing the same exact thing, it makes me sit back and just see like, why is everybody going this way?
Yeah.
What is that? I'll just sit back, look at the entire picture and say, hey, wait, I want to build a want for this thing first, so people actually go to it instead of just hoping somebody comes across it and just, hey, I'll take that one.
Therein lies the truth, James. Therein lies the truth.
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't matter, and that's what infuriates me about the whole NFTs at a macro is everybody hears about the gold rush side of the story, right? Like these artists are making so much money. They're doing such an incredible job. Oh my gosh, Beeple made $96 million in 1 week selling NFTs. If I just get over there, I'll be able to do it. You know what no one ever talks about? Beeple, the one example that I use, that guy committed to an original piece 5,000 days in a row. Now he's a digital artist. It makes it a little bit easier. He did an original work of art, digitally speaking, for 5,000 days in a row. I did the math. It's 13.3 years. So you think that guy's an overnight success? No. The long and the short of it is, unless you're working on your marketing and cultivating your marketing, it doesn't matter if you're trying to sell NFTs or you're trying to sell regular works. It's not selling because no one's seeing it. You're awash in a sea of images, and how are they going to find you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I love.
So what I did, I just focused on the marketing, and that's literally the only thing I'm doing right now until enough people are paying attention that I know exactly how many people are going to buy once it actually kicks off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
As far as me, joining this meeting, it was actually to contact you personally, and it's crazy. I get to talk to you. I emailed you yesterday for a reason, and the reason was because I started an event about 6 years ago over in New Jersey. I know you're in California, no?
Yeah.
All right. So it's basically I got the idea from senior citizens, actually. I used to watch them out in the park painting with these easels in a line. They would have like 2 different lines of easels laid out, and the older folks would sit out and just paint the nature in front of them.
Yep.
And I never seen it since I was a child. But once I went online and I seen like all these different meetups, like meetup.com, people were doing it everywhere. And it's like in pretty much every town, every state, everywhere. So what I decided to do was pick some beautiful locations in New Jersey and to do the same exact thing. But the idea was to get artists to come out to sell their arts as vendors. So it was basically meant only for sales of vendors while I sell my art and conduct an event at the same exact time.
Okay.
So, the vendors, they fill up spots quicker than the people that come in. And what happens is I provide all art materials for the attendees, as many art material as you can think of, and I section off the different tables to different types of art, from painting to pottery to jewelry making to anything you can think of. What's the guy? He's a sculptor. The guy, he comes out and just sculpts right up, right outdoors. People are burning glass outdoors, and everybody comes as artists and the things that they created and set up vendor spots around the entire section. So my idea was to call you, because it's an educational thing in the center of those people. And my idea was to contact you to see if you can do one of your, like a setup where you would do like an educational format to speak to all these artists, because they're nothing but artists and creators at the event.
Gotcha. Okay.
I wanted you to do what you're doing now, but at the event, I wanted to know how much would you charge for something like that, just to even travel or to come out and to participate at one of these events as someone who can guide people to make more sales and produce higher marketing for themselves, and give them some ideas and get them out there to make more money, because that's literally why I created the entire event, was to get other artists out there to get the money that they deserve.
No, I gotcha. I love it. Send me an email on it. I just looked. I haven't seen an email from you, so I don't know if it got caught in spam or we email from. My name is the most dragged through the mud name in this entire operation in terms of emails that get sent, and sometimes they don't all make it back to me. So you could send me an email, James, at patrick@artstorefronts.com, and I'll take a look.
All right, cool.
Thanks, dude. Awesome. I feel like we've covered all kinds of stuff today. Who else, guys? Questions? Any others on there? No, Len? No, Bruce? That's okay. Okay, there we go, Bruce. See, that's what I'm talking about. You'll have to unmute. Just hit the mic icon bottom left. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to find also your opinion about NFTs. Is that coming? Are you going to be discussing that?
Yeah. I might as well get right into it now because it's interesting. So, one, like I said, I love crypto. The CEO loves crypto. I bought my first Bitcoin when it was $9. I actually bought it on eBay, believe it or not. It was $9. Obviously, I didn't buy a lot of them or keep them, because I wouldn't be doing this webinar if I did. But anyway, stands for non-fungible tokens, right? And it's basically a way to do a digital contract that and anytime the artwork sells, you try to explain it, what an NFT actually is, and people get so doggone confused. Someone hasn't even going into the weeds on it. I think what they portend for the artist, for the photographer, is incredible. I think there's some early amazing success stories. I think it's utterly, totally, and completely accretive to the art market, meaning the buyers that are purchasing NFTs were not purchasing traditional artworks for the most part. And so it represents an expansion in the market. I think it is extremely difficult to do and tech intensive right now to buy one, to store one, take custody of one. The asset does not get delivered when you purchase it. The NFT is really just a digital certificate of authenticity, and that has a contract in it that says this, that, or the other. Is that contract easily enforceable outside of the U.S.? Probably not, right? So it's very, very early days. I doubt that you would have a single solitary buyer that would be a normal buyer for you that has crypto or has a MetaMask wallet or would even know how to purchase one or take custody of one or understand how any of it works. And so it is extremely early days. The tech hurdle, what would I call it? Not the tech hurdle. The barrier to entry is extremely high. I mean, out of all of the people on here, and aside from James, who said he figured it out, most would not even be able to get through the initial steps on even figuring out how to buy one, let alone take custody of one, because it's actually extremely technical. So I think there's a bunch of those things to solve until it becomes more of an everyday type of a thing. That being said, it's just a certificate of authenticity. Like if I was to buy a work from you, digital or otherwise, you could sell an NFT with it that would say this, that, and the other, but you still have to deliver the work to me. If it's a JPEG, you have to send it to me. if it's a original work, you would have to ship it to me, right? And then in the NFT, by me purchasing it and agreeing to it, it says, hey, if I ever sell this work, Bruce gets an additional piece. There's all kinds of things that you can put into these little contracts. But at its core, it's just a contract that's a certificate of authenticity that goes with the work. That's all it is, right? It's not any delivery of the asset. So it's still very, very early days. I think it will, I hope, change everything. I'm a huge believer in what the distributed blockchain ledger means and portends for humanity, and especially the artist. But unless I had, if for anybody on this call, unless I have strong technical acumen and I'm really, really fascinated by it, then invest 5 to 7% of your margin time to learn about them and get better and go down the rabbit hole with them. Otherwise, don't waste your time, because it's not going to be an instantaneous shot in your arm. You're not all of a sudden going to go put up a bunch of work on OpenSea or one of the other exchanges, and it's just going to sell and you're going to make money and it's going to change everything. Because the main problem underpinning the whole thing is still just an attention problem. And now, no different than your Fine Art America or your eBay or your Etsy or your Saatchi or any of the, free for all, anyone can upload anything marketplaces. That's what the big NFT marketplaces have turned into. Like, the top pieces are getting all the attention on there, but everyone else is just down at the bottom floating around in obscurity, no different than they would have been on Fine Art America or Saatchi or Redbubble or any of the rest of them. So that's what I'd say.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. The more interesting aspect of it, I think, is like, a lot of these NFTs now are transitioning to, instead of just like, an artwork per se, they're more just a smart contract, and they can kind of be like a country club membership, right? Or a social club membership, or have these various different benefits, right? There's some of them that are, here's a way to, some of them now are turning into Costco cards, meaning I have a store, okay, and have a bunch of items in the store, and the only way that you can buy any of those items is if you connect your wallet to the store and I verify that you have the Costco card NFT, right? That's an interesting model, okay? I think it's an interesting model on saying, I'm gonna release 15 of these NFTs, and you as a collector can buy them. The idea is that if you buy one, it's written in the contract in the NFT that says you get first right of refusal on all new works that I come out with. And you number the coins 1 through 15. And so you come out with a new piece. First, you have to send it to number 1. He says no. She says no. Then you send it to number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, all on down the line, right? That's interesting, because that's a way for me to say, you're an interesting artist. I like you. I'm going to buy an NFT. I want first right of refusal. And then 10 years from now, you blow up and I want to sell the thing. Then that's interesting, right? And you could do little spiffs and perks along the way. But it is just such early days. But I'm passionate about it. I'm fascinated about it. I think it'll be really, really interesting to see where it goes. But again, early days. Okay, I'm going back to gallery mode to see if there's anyone else. Anyone else? Questions? It's okay. It's okay if you don't. All good if you don't. What else? I'm trying to think what else. I've been going all over the place today. Great time to get started. Great time to get started whether you sign up with us or not, because this business fundamentally at its core is about regular marketing sale. Next big art selling holiday, Mother's Day. It's big for every artist, believe it, whether or not you would think it is. And there's time for you to get your site live, get your ducks in a row, figure out what you're going to sell on Mother's Day, and have a nice sale. And the whole point of it is, until you start learning those mechanics and understanding, how are you ever going to take advantage of the really, really, really big sales? Amazon Prime Day is one. Most artists don't know that. And then Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the fourth quarter, all huge. So great time to sign up. I know we've got some incredible deals going on this month. I can't remember what our sale's called this month. There, I get over a big sale. All you have to do is request a demo all over our website. It'll be in the replays. There's buttons everywhere. And again, it's just a Zoom call like this with somebody on our outreach team. They'll walk you through all the ups, all the downs, all the bells, all the whistles. Jenny, because I already have your information, I'll just have somebody contact you. Jenny, April, you put Jenny on the list. She doesn't have to fill out a form. Yep. And yeah, they'll call you. And then you could just go through, see the bells, see the whistles, see all the packages, and then, you're armed with the information. You know what to do. So that's what I would say. But other than that, I appreciate all you guys. Bruce's got a follow-up question. Don't worry, Bruce, I'm coming back. I see you. Hold on, I gotta find your name in here. Bruce, there he is. Okay, you're unmuted. You have to hit the mic icon again like you did before. I'll let you know when you get it. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. All I had to do was follow the sign, right?
Yeah.
That's the last thing I would look for. I have a mailing list that amounts to 0.
Yes.
And I'm having a show in August, a 1 month one-man show, and just at a library, and I forgot my question.
So what you want to do is you want to get one of your works made into a print. Not too big. It can be just this big, right? It can be this size. And then you get a clipboard. And on the clipboard, you say, hey, enter. You have a little sign there that says, enter to win a free print. All you have to do is put your name on the clipboard, right? Capture names and emails. After the show ends, put all those names in a hat, draw one out, email them all, and say, congratulations to such and such as the winner. Thanks for entering. I appreciate all you guys for coming by. Because I don't ever win anything either, you can take for the next 48 hours, 20% off store-wide. Deal ends in 48 hours. Use coupon code such and such. And there you go. That's what I would do.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, okay, so you're actually saying that's where I would get my first.
That's how you start. We teach you how to do a bunch of other things too, but yeah, right. that's the fact that you don't have any emails on the list is not an issue. It's how everyone starts. Emails are built one at a time. You're going to be doing it for the rest of your career. The key here is just to get going on it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Everyone always asks that question too. It's like, well, how I don't have any emails. How am I going to get started? Trust me, we all started there. Okay. Just because I have 200,000 emails on a list doesn't mean that I still don't build an email one at a time. That's just how it goes. That is the ball game. But all right, I think I've talked myself into circles. I think we leave it there, guys. I appreciate all of you. I'll send you a replay in short order. If we said we're going to follow up with you, we'll follow up with you. And I think that's it. Did I forget anything, April? I don't think so. I think that's it.
Nope.
Perfect. All righty. Great talking to all you guys. Hope to see you again inside, outside, somewhere, YouTube. Give us a follow, and I'll